Hello guys, I hope you're doing great. The film begins with Barry Allen fast-tracking to his usual cafeteria to order breakfast, but he is frustrated to find that the garçon has been replaced by someone important, slower as he grows decreasingly late for work. Barry receives a call from Alfred asking for his help in dealing with an attack on Gotham City orchestrated by Bruce Wayne. In a hurry, Barry rushes into the bathroom and transforms into the Flash. Using his preternatural speed, he snappily prepares to leave for Gotham City, leaving no time for distractions or indeed calories. The physical aeroplane around him deforms as he runs at super speed, showcasing the effect of the Speed Force in this adaptation upon appearance in Gotham City. The Flash finds himself in front of a collapsing structure and rescues an ambulance motorist who is about to fall off a precipice. Meanwhile, Batman chases after culprits who have stolen a dangerous contagion using his Batmotor. He asks the Flash to save people from a near sanitarium while he continues the pursuit. Alfred informs Barry that the pipes in the basement have exploded, causing the structure to collapse, despite originally allowing Alfred was wrong. Barry soon realizes the verity as the structure crumbles around him on the top-bottom. Babies are falling with a nanny, and the Flash uses a stretcher to pick them up one by one in slow stir, saving them, and the nanny. Subsequently, Barry goes to meet Batman, who is dealing with the culprits trying to escape by exploding a tanker in front of his club motorcycle. If you're still watching, please subscribe to our channel for more recaps. It may not a big deal, but it helps us a lot. Thanks. Batman injects himself and manages to hit their vehicle with a dart, ultimately negativing them. Still, the vehicle deviates and falls into the water, venturing Gotham City with the deadly contagion. Wonder Woman arrives with her Lariat of Truth, which she uses to deliver Batman and the Last Pincher. Wonder Woman flies down, and the Flash returns to the cafeteria just as they finish serving. Barry goes to the police department, where if he works as a coroner, he is nearly fired, but is encouraged to continue his work by his master, who recognizes his gift. Still, he faces importunity from two co-workers who bully him for being a nerd. It's at the police department that he connects with Iris West, an ex-classmate from university, who comes to see him. Barry becomes nervous around her as he has had passions for her in the history. During their discussion, Iris reminds Barry that his father's appeal is the coming day and asks for his opinion on the matter. Barry believes that his father is innocent and was framed for his mama's death. He entered an envelope from Bruce Wayne containing a flash drive and a communication that said, "I am sorry," while they talk about their lives. Barry plays the videotape from the flash drive, which unfortunately doesn't show his father's face, making it insolvable to use it as substantiation to exculpate his father. Barry mentions that he has to attend the appeal, but Henry, his father, suggests that he leave the case before and concentrate on his life, feeling sad. Barry goes to his old house where his father reminisces about the effects they did together when Barry was a sprat. Barry remembers the day his mama was boggled and how his father was framed for the crime. Barry remembers the day. Barry begins to run at hyperspeed, breaking space a time. For a moment, he is transported to a dream world in the Speed Force, entering chronospace. For the first time, we see how he runs in rear, and his recollections of all time as well as multiple realities appear around him. Barry had no way been to this place ahead and was surprised he stops the memory when he saves the children and he nearly returns to the history. Still, he decides not to alter anything because he knows that doing so would change the entire timeline after this. Barry talks to Bruce, revealing to him that he was suitable to reach chronospace, where he saw numerous images of the present history and numerous realities. Bruce warns him not to touch it again because changing indeed a small thing could have drastic consequences. Barry proposes to recover his family, but Bruce disagrees and tells him that nothing is broken inside him and he should continue with his life. Iris West arrives at that moment, and Barry takes advantage of his Speed Force capacities to fix up his room before her appearance. Also, he vibrates and goes to his neighbor's kitchen to take a couple of beers from her and give them to his guest. In the discussion, he continues to make a fool of himself. He has a videotape where his father is not honored for going to bring the tomato because he didn't look at the camera, so he comes up with the idea of going back in time and just putting the tomato in his mama's shopping wain. This way, his father doesn't return to the store and nothing dies. They would all be happy he plans to do it without commerce, and he thanks Iris for the idea. He leaves, and now we're in chronospace with Flash running in rear, where we see numerous worlds like Henry Cavill as Superman. Little by little, he begins to rewind time and returns to the history to the exact moment when his mama was in the supermarket buying groceries. Barry takes a can of tomatoes and puts it in his Wayne. He says hello to his mama and says farewell for the last time. Little by little, he begins to return to the future where we see that numerous effects have changed. There were no plans for superheroes. Presently, everything sounded happy. We see how Barry's different birthdays were celebrated, and his parents were happy until he turned 18. A monster's grandiloquent scrambler appeared and hit Barry, enmeshing him after this. The portal closed. He discovered that his mama was still alive now. His father saluted them for coming home beforehand, and supposedly everything was happy. The three of them had lunch together. But there was commodity that Barry didn't anticipate: a temporal remnant. Barry of this timeline arrived at the house and was forced to go out to stop him and ask him what time it is, but the Barry of this macrocosm, still without powers, doesn't know what is passing, because there's another Barry in front of him and he ends up falling unconscious from fright, latterly in his room. Barry tries to explain everything that happened and how it cannot be possible that there are two Barrys in the same timeline, but the youthful Barry does not get tired of talking, and now our Barry understands why he's so unsupportable for the Justice League. He's indeed about to hit him, but the youthful Barry reveals to him that moment he has a date with a girl he loves, and her name is Iris West. So Arbery cannot leave him unconscious. Still, before they leave, they see that everything is cloudy, so the youthful Barry must be in the forensic palace before it happens, because that's the time when the youthful Barry gets his power. They both arrive at the Central Disquisition Center and enter. Wobbling stealthily, they reach the top bottom, where our Barry opens the door and explains that youthful Barry must be sitting there next to the chemicals because in a moment, lightning will strike him. Still, upon hearing this, the youthful Barry wants to run down because he's not willing to bear lightning, so they both start to struggle. But it's too late, because at that moment, lightning strikes through our Barry, leaving a hole in the youthful Barry's back also. Barry and the youthful man began to regenerate. Our Barry knows that it worked, so they both try to get out of the place. Barry tries to use his vibration fashion, but this time it does not work. He tries to do it alone again, but he just hits the wall over and over again until he tries to run. Still, the Speed Force abandons him and the lightning takes his powers. Now it's youthful Barry who has them latterly in the youthful Barry's apartment. Our Barry tells him that lightning took his powers and now he has them without his speed. He doesn't know how he is going to get back home, and he'll be stranded in this place. Ever obviously, the youthful Barry realizes that he has powers and begins to test them throughout the apartment by jumping for happiness like a baby. The youthful Barry applies the speed fashion, and super speed comes out of the house. The color of the shafts is blue. Barry continues to run, so we see that his clothes are on fire and he's forced to stop to take them off. This causes a brutal accident in Central City with the youthful Barry in the center, who's forced to take off his clothes before burning himself. At that moment, he's spotted by the police. So if he super speeds back home where our Barry is staying, for him to explain that his clothes burn when he runs too important, and that is why people can transport him at high speed. But the youthful Barry is too busy eating to hear to him until he begins to joggle, falling naked to his neighbor on the lower bottom. Still, when the youthful Barry falls asleep during Barry's class on how to be the Flash, Barry gives him a lightning ring with a special suit and proposes to train him so he can enter Hue space and return to his time effects. Get intriguing when people start running out of nowhere spooked, so both Barry and Barry watch a TV show where our Barry realizes that General Zod has arrived. Our Barry knows that this is fatal because Superman supposedly does not live in this macrocosm or continues incognito. So if he tells the youthful Barry about General Zod's plan to form Earth so they can revive their world, Krypton still for this plan, billions of people will die, so they must stop him. Our Barry mentions that when Zod arrived, he could not do anything because he'd just attained his powers and was testing a new suit at the exact moment when Zod began to destroy Metropolis. There was a boy who saw his father die, and Barry could only save the little boy while his father was crushed by rubble. Barry is veritably sorry for this, but now he can help all this destruction. He just has to find the rest of the Justice League. Barry arrives at the apartment and begins looking for Cyborg, but Victor Stone in this macrocosm is still a pupil and not a cyborg. Wonder Woman does not live, moreover, and there's no news about her. As for Aquaman, nothing is known about him. Barry realizes that he has created a world without superheroes, but when he mentions the name of Batman, he realizes that everyone there knows him. Such a disclosure makes both Barry and Bruce go to Bruce's house. When they arrive, they both begin to call for Bruce. Bruce Wayne comes out and proceeds to give our hedge beating because the youthful Barry dodges everything with his powers. In the end, he eventually starts talking. Our Barry explains that he tried to change the history, but when he returned to the present, he realized that there's another Barry, and everything has changed there in this macrocosm. Bruce Wayne reveals to Barry that when he goes back in time, the entire timeline is changed, including the past. This means that it isn't his world, and if the timeline changes again, a multiverse will be created with some ineluctable corners similar as Batman being in all worlds when General Zod threatens the Earth. Barry mentions that Superman exists in his timeline, and Bruce tells them that Superman can also live in this macrocosm. Still, Bruce refuses to help, so our Barry takes the youthful Barry to the Club Delve, which is located a little far from Wayne's manse. Since Bruce does not want to help they use all his bat vestiges, the youthful Barry explores the Club Delve, while Barry looks for sightings of unidentified objects, which include the boat in which Superman arrived. While exploring, the youthful Barry interrupts our Barry, but our Barry confronts him and calls him an immature child who cannot take anything seriously. Youthful. Barry responds by telling him that he did everything he asked without questioning him, but also leaves him alone. Still youthful. Barry knows that Bruce Wayne is watching him through the computers. He talks to him and mentions that indeed, though it's another timeline, there are absolute points in time that always do in the macrocosm, like Bruce Wayne's parents' deaths. A door opens, and he picks up his Batman suit laterally. Barry finds documents indicating that there's a metahuman in Siberia with the characteristics of Superman who came out of the impact of an unidentified boat. The Batship arrives, and Michael Keaton's Batman takes them to Siberia there. Batman prepares them for the charge, and they both explore the base until they find commodity in the basement. As they make their way through the lair, the youthful Barry accidentally knocks down an essence bar, cranking the admonitions and waking the Soviets. The two Barrys are trapped and under fire, but the youthful Barry's chops save them. Batman makes his entrance and finishes off the Russians alone. They find the Kryptonian boat. They find a weak and dying girl, not Superman. Batman orders them to leave her, but our Barry decides to carry her in his arms on the way out. A Russian scientist tries to shoot them, but the youthful Barry saves them with his powers, getting shot in the knee. Batman protects them with his cape and throws a lemon at the Russians, allowing them to escape. The boat falls, but Batman breaks the cinch, and they all enter through a duct to continue escaping through the lair. They are cornered again, but Batman places them, and that sends them to the upper part. Then the mysterious girl falls in the snow, and our icons are cornered by the Russians. Still, at that moment, they're saved by this mysterious woman who literally kills all the Soviets because the pellets are imperishable. By the time the butchery ends, the girl has fallen unconscious, so they bring her back to the Club Delve. They bring the girl back to the Club Delve, where she wakes up and reveals that she is Supergirl, Superman's kinsman. She tells them that she and Superman were transferred to Earth in different capsules to survive after Krypton's destruction. But Superman no way arrived in this macrocosm. Our Barry sends Supergirl to the roof to recover her powers from the radiation of the sun. The youthful Barry asks her for help in fighting to defend humans, but Supergirl responds that billions of people will die, and it's not their war because humans were evil and had locked them for a long time in the topsoil. Meanwhile, Barry wants to recreate the lightning that gave him his powers, and Batman warns him that he may die trying. Batman asks Barry why he wants to fight in this macrocosm rather of returning to another timeline or world. Barry tells him that his mama lives then, and he has wanted to save her for a long time. Batman advises him to conduct his trauma towards fighting crime as he did after his parents' deaths. Kara flies over Earth and reaches General Zod's position, where she sees him talking to the military since they've not brought Superman to him. The dog faces are guillotined in a butchery witnessed by no Kryptonians. We see our Barry get into the president with all the chemicals prepared and make sure he is ready to admit the lightning Vatman had prepared an entire antenna that would track that lightning despite how crazy it was. Batman activates the electricity which causes the lightning to arrive and hit Barry Allen. But it does not work and rather leaves him on the verge of death. Still, Barry asks Bruce to do it again and again, but the machine has broken down, leading to the end of Barry. But Kara appears also comes to help him. We see how the dying Barry rises and takes flight to the top of the sky where he mythically causes lightning to strike. But he's dying still. A spark of electricity springs from his hand and soon begins to regenerate the youthful Barry remodels. A suit for the Flash and Batman joins their platoon. They intermediate in the war between humans and Kryptonians. The three are left in the middle of the war between Kryptonians and humans in the distance. General Zod is revealed, so Supergirl launches to defy him. Zod replies that they were staying for her, and this line is crucial. So be veritably careful, the mortal dog faces were being slaughtered by the Kryptonians in this war, and they prepared to intermediate. Still, the youthful Barry of the blue light receives a cut on the face. General Zod starts terraforming so that Krypton can come back to life. Zod reveals to her that he transferred a Kryptonian boy to Earth with the key in his blood to bring Krypton back to life. She thinks it was Kal, but Zod reveals to her that he interdicted his boat and killed him, and the boy who had the key was her. Such a disclosure makes Supergirl face Zod using her thermal vision to shoot him far down with a single blow. At the same time, the two Barrys unite, attend their capacities, and begin to massacre Kryptonians. Supergirl supposedly defeated General Zod and hit him against a boat when she was about to cancel the terraforming. He fatally picked her in the reverse incontinently. His abettors arrived with a machine that's fitted into her casket to prize the law. The youthful Barry went to help her, but when he arrived it was too late because she was dead. Not only that, but Batman shoots at a boat that had a guard, and incontinently Batman's boat receives veritably serious damage. So before dying, he says he will leave, but not alone, and he crashes into a Kryptonian boat. Batman and Kara failed, and the youthful Barry doesn't want to accept it, so he returns to Flash. Telling him that this shouldn't be furious, he starts running at super speed. Flash thinks he is not that presto, but underestimates the wrathfulness of a Flash. So we see them both reach time-space to go back in time and save Batman and Kara. So Flash tells Batman that the boat he plans to attack has a guard. The club doesn't attack her, but chooses to go for the most important Kryptonian, who launches himself into this boat. Unfortunately, this beast severely beats Batman. Still, he manages to stand up and explode his head. Although Flash arrives, it's too late because Batman's injuries are veritably serious, and he dies at the same time the young Flash tries to help Kara in her fight against General Zod. But he also has the power of super speed and takes her out of the vortex with a blow that latterly ends her life. The youthful Barry, unfit to accept the deaths, goes back in time to save them. Still, he fails constantly and becomes crazier each time our Barry tells him that some problems have no result and that it is better to let go. He reveals that he returned to the history to save his mama, but it caused this world to die moment. Youthful Barry goes back in time again to try to help the deaths, but our Barry accepts that some effects cannot be changed. The man appears. It's the Sprinter that we aphorism at the morning, who isn't live, but is another interpretation of young Barry with numerous scars and immense power. The Sprinter overpowers. We see a shot of Superman from the 1980s, Jay Garrick from Earth, one in black and white, and the first Superman and Supergirl pictures in color, along with Nicolas Cage as Superman in some worlds returning with the old remnant of Flash. He explains that it's all Barry's fault because our Barry should have let his mama die to make everything normal. But he refused, and the old remnant plans to kill him before that happens, the young Barry offering himself by entering the blow, and the old remnant of Flash disappears as the two are the same person. The sad Barry dies in our Barry's arms, surging him to take care of Mom. Our Barry begins to run backward to return to the exact moment when his mama was in the supermarket. There, he sees how his history tone places the tomato in the Wayne, but Barry takes it down to ensure events unfold as they should. He wears spectacles and approaches his mama, who recognizes him in a familiar way. She hugs him while Barry cries, and he takes advantage of that moment to remove the tomato can. After saying goodbye, he returns to the unborn putatively. Right, there is a communication from Iris West telling him that she sees him in court because moment is the day of the trial appeal of his father, thanks to Bruce Wayne's technology. It's revealed that his father was indeed buying the tomato barrels, and he's acquitted after numerous times in captivity. Barry testifies before intelligencers, jokingly mentioning that his father will get out free because the tomato barrels went from the bottom to the top. Everything seems happy, and Iris West asks him out on a date. Still, as we all know, you cannot alter commodity from the once and anticipate everything to remain the same. Barry receives a call from Bruce Wayne, who arrives incontinently in his supercar, but it isn't not Ben Affleck's Batman, it's George Clooney's Batman.
This is Redo Recap Channel. Make sure you subscribe the channel if you want to see more recap of movies or series or anime. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.